Welcome. This is
You've been doing some work on the intro there, babe.
Why?
Just a few. I noticed a few things that are a little different, or maybe just I haven't noticed them before. I don't know.
No, I did that a couple weeks ago, seeing how we always have a awesome guest. And as a matter of fact, I got to tweak it again because tonight we have a new other guest.
We got another awesome guest. We got like awesomeness everywhere.
Yeah,
it's great. I mean, this whole thing started as you and I just kind of like thinking we were just going to kind of like say what was ever on our fuzzy little heads, but it's turned into something better, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Meeting a lot of good people. I just want to ask how you been because I haven't really talked to you much this week.
No, we haven't. I'm doing fabulous. And yourself?
Oh, I was good. I had a DJ wedding over the weekend, so it was like an 8-hour wedding. But the only good news is all they wanted was 70s and 80s music. So I was in my glory. No rap, no hip hop, nothing like that. Just good old Journey and everything else. So
and if they did ask for it, all you were going to do is sorry, we don't play it.
Yeah. That's no habla inglés. I just I do whatever I had to do. But
my goodness.
Anyway, yeah. So it's been a busy week in working with police and firefighters in Miramar, Florida, and it's been like energizing and wonderful. But it's always good that you and I get to do this on Tuesday nights.
It is amazing, and I'm just seeing a few people in our green.
We got a lot of people coming in the green room, but before we get them on, just so we get a moment, do you have any special guests on your other shows this week before we get confused with everybody?
No, because I'm kind of putting that on a hiatus. I'm doing my regular Cheryl and Scott and Brian, but I've got some more new podcasts and things are coming on, and LynnSerrano.tv is coming along within 30 days. We should have some amazing reveals there too. So I've got to take time to dedicate on doing all that before I have all these awesome guests that we're going to be doing. So thanks for asking, but I'm in a little transition with we're going big. Go big.
Sometimes,
or go home.
Yeah, sometimes we miss that. So I just want to make sure on our shows before we bring people in, let's tell everybody what's going on. I don't have any other shows this week either, folks.
Okay.
This is my week that I'm kind of off. I'm off to see Gary play tomorrow night. Probably going to get up and do a little singing and have some fun. But yeah.
The real nice thing is it is summertime. People are on vacation, this fall, just like all of the wonderful TV that's out there, in the fall, we'll fall back and we'll have some really good shows for people that really want to see some really good stuff. So I'm super excited. So let's bring some of our people here. But you know what?
I know. Well, you're just going to like roll the dice, and who are you going to bring in first, and how are you going to do this?
Well,
I'm going to sit back and watch you go crazy.
It's really funny. What I think I want to do first is the first person I'm going to bring up is someone new to our stage. And I could say so many awesome things about this man, but I think he's a very humble guy, as everyone will get to know. And as everyone knows here, we don't sit here and we just give you value. We don't sit here to plug or make commercials. We're just a bunch of great people giving value. And if you're smart enough, you'll just Google everybody and then you do your homework on your own. But Scott is his life purpose is to inspire and empower others to serve humanity through living their life's purpose in spirit, love, and joy. And if that doesn't tell you one kind of person that we love having here, this is the one and only Scott Schilling. He's a connector. And speaking of connectors, he is a connector with this man right here, Bob Donnell. Between these two, we're one person removed from amazing, awesome people, other than the people we already know. And then we have the one and only Rex Sikes, which I think he's incognito.
Is he incognito again?
Yes, he is. He's in the witness protection program or something. But
he is.
There he is. Oh, that man! He's so awesome.
There he is. But the brick wall, I recognize that. He's still in prison right now, so it's okay. I recognize that wall. There you go.
And then we have the one and only Barry, who's 50 ways to leave. 50 ways to love your lover. So, and then.
And no brick
this
wall.
is not last, but
no
not least, the most amazing jam you'll ever have. Flo Jam is in the house.
Hi, Flo.
I'm going to put her up here. Oh, my gosh. So welcome to the stage, everyone.
Does anybody else feel like Flo's here to like make sure that we just don't get in trouble? I feel like she's like the kindergarten teacher in the room. We're all kind of going off in different directions, and she's just kind of sitting there judging us.
Oh, no judgment. No judgment.
No.
Okay.
And this is going to be fun-packed, Phil, because I just started last Tuesday going to Scott Schilling's mastermind group. And it was awesome because, Scott, we talked about basically everybody's, having their own perspective and how we see things. And I was like, oh my gosh, you would just love our show here. So it was just felt really good to go somewhere and to give, wisdom and just be around some great people. So we will finish at 55 because I got to go to his next class here. So
Right.
anyhow, the topic, go ahead, Scott. Let's dive into this topic.
Well, I'd like to get to know a little bit about Scott Schilling first. I mean, Scott, it's nice to meet you, brother.
Great to meet you as well. You got a great name, by the way. Just
yeah. Well, you know what? They only handed out a few of those back when I was born.
Yep.
And
totally
we're probably right around
agree.
the same time there.
Yep.
But I liked what your kind of introduction said, your bio said, and I'd just like to know more about what drives you to just, if you're trying to go out there and help people. Usually there's a reason that people do that. I was just curious, and we've heard a lot from everybody else here, but I'd love to know what drives you to be of service to other people.
I read "See at the Top" when I was 17 years old, just a few years ago. And there was a quote in that book that forever changed my life. You can have everything in life you want when you help enough other people get what they want. And fortunately, I knew Zig and still friends with the Ziegler family. And it set a credo, a mantra, a course of action for my entire life and career. And then once you meet Zig and you're around the family and you're around him and all that, you understand it even more fully. And then I just chose to live it. And more than anything, it's about sharing the talents and capabilities I've been granted by God to make the planet a better place.
Now, and so the quote you read that got you launched, have you decided that as a truth statement now?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
I mean, it's a positioning statement. It's I shared this, actually. I was on Bob's show yesterday. It's funny. I didn't know he was going to be here, but I said, one of the things I figured out as a speaker is the promoter is first, the audience is second, I am third.
Right.
And it's really hard to do anything except provide service when you're third, because you've got the other two to take care of.
Absolutely.
And I love that you asked them that question, and that went into what I would love to talk about as far as doing the right thing, because I feel there's people that get that verbiage of help other people and you'll get what you want. And I think there's many people that do that in an unhonorable way, because they're still believing, oh shit, if I'm just nice enough, I'm going to get them to buy this $500 thing right here. And the manipulation, I'm just as true as they come. I don't like manipulation, and I don't like all these different things. And I'm grateful that my master coach here, Rex, with NLP, is teaching me to be wiser to those that take something that's supposed to help us to help humanity. And then there's the people that go ahead and don't do the right thing with it. So I'd like to start the topic about that. What do you guys think? And how you feel about that?
I run a clubhouse room on Mondays, and we talk about relationships, but we talk about transactional versus transformational. And what you're talking about here is the same thing. It's that transactional thing where you'll do something with the intention to get something back from somebody versus just give something the way you want to. I know Joe's just getting his button everywhere he can. I actually showed his face in the room for it.
Joe Ingram, he should be in here, but he's too chicken. Anyways.
He's just like throwing stuff. He's like a heckler from the audience.
Scott, do you know who Joe Ingram is?
This Scott? Yeah.
That's Scott. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Just as a sales trainer, and Webster's definition of sales is the exchange of a product, good, or service for an amount of money or its equivalent. I changed to make my heart-centered selling definition education through communication without manipulation, turning the entire process into being a teacher. Mm-hmm. I'm the teacher of the products, goods, and services that I represent.
We need a lot more of that out there, because through COVID, we've had too many people that are always, hi, I'm such and such, and I do this, and I do this, and they give you a whole certification before they give you the value first. And I mean, I'm so grateful the friendship I have with Rex Steven Sikes. There we go. I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place here. But Rex is just awesome, and he's just such a humble guy. He just gives value. He spends time with you, with all of us, Bob. I mean, all of you guys, and that's what I'm saying is that we come here together and give our opinion, and it's just it's such an honor to Scott and I, and that means a lot. So I'm gonna let Jonesy over there. His name is Jonesy for Scott. So we're gonna call him Jonesy.
Go by my old nickname, Jonesy.
So
that's one of the few that I could share without offending people.
Okay, Sir Walter Scott, but okay.
No, we're not going there.
Like that.
Yeah, okay.
Like that.
Welcome, Sandra.
This whole do the right. Oh, Sandra, hi.
Hello, Jonesy. I like the Jonesy. That's gonna stick.
That could stay. That's
like
what that's what Dog calls me, and it frustrates me every
Jonesy.
time. And it's like, well, so then I call him Dwayne, and we get in a fight, and I think he's going to kill me, so I don't
Oh,
fight with
okay.
him.
So maybe it's
But let me explain.
anchored.
The reason when Lynn and I were talking earlier, and I said doing the right thing, it's because it's exactly what Lynn said, and has been kind of alluded to. There's a lot of people out there that use doing the right thing as kind of a mantra, but when you're in front of them, what you realize is that it's all about how they can manipulate, how they can get something from you. Now, I always have to take the stance in any conversation or in any interaction I have. I want to learn. I want to gain something from that, but I want to gain knowledge. I want to gain a sense of them. I want to be able to adopt their perspective in some ways, because that's how I grow. But there's so many things out there. It's all about the freaking money. It's all about, you got to buy this from me and buy that from me. And, as much as I love, Tony Robbins in a way, and I know some of his people and stuff, but it's a sales conference is what it is. It's a big sales conference, and there's a great energy in the room, and it's great to be a part of that. And it's fun to walk on fire, but it's a sales conference. And I think in this world right now, what we need with mental health, with addictions, with everything else going on out there, we need more one-on-one individual. I'm here to help you and make it genuine, make it real. Filling a conference hall full of people so that they can hear my wonderful message does not fulfill me. Sitting, I'll get the message up, but it's about the individual one-on-ones that I have to remember. That's where the rubber hits the road. That's where doing the right thing is when somebody needs help, you show up and you're there for them. I think it's important.
I'd like Rex to pick up from there, because Rex has taught some of the top thought leaders and people that have blatantly just verbatim used his own words, which he doesn't care, because he's a humble guy. He doesn't care. He wants to work out there. But Rex comes from a giving heart. And so Rex, hi, are you ready to speak?
I'm actually in the middle of an important conference, just trying to telling them that I can't talk to them now, and I'm just seeing if I can reschedule them for tomorrow. So
okay,
all right, we'll circle back around. We'll circle back around to Rex. We'll look at the top of his head for now and enjoy the view.
We love Rex.
We love Rex.
We love Rex.
It's always something. How about you, Bob? What are you thinking on all this?
I think a couple of thoughts. One is I love the quote from Zig Ziglar. I've been a fan of that forever. And Scott and I were talking about that yesterday. If you imagine that it goes one way, that you can have anything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want first, then you have to be able to reverse engineer that and say, if I don't have everything I want, it means I haven't helped enough people get what they want first. So it works one way. It also works the other. The other aspect of this whole thought is the difference between influence and manipulation is intent, right?
Absolutely.
And so if my goal is to get you to buy whatever I have because it's the best thing for me, that's one thing. But if my goal is to get you to buy because I truly believe that it's the best thing for you and it's going to help you immensely, then I'm going to do it from a sense of influence versus manipulation. And I think those are two things really to really kind of be mindful of especially as we approach this subject.
Yeah, love it.
Absolutely. I'm not against, I don't ever want to make it sound like I'm against, because, I've got a business and I've got to run, I've got to keep the business afloat. I've got to do all of that. I think it's about the intent, and that's absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. everybody deserves to make a living. And I believe if you do the right things, money will follow. It will follow. You'll be okay. But if you're putting the money first, that usually where the intent goes afoul and it goes the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking, Flo?
You're gonna make me follow guys like Scott and Bob. Wow. And Jonesy, you had a good response too. But I think it's doing the right thing is just what you feel is right. Just I don't know. I don't have any like huge wisdoms or anything. But I was like
agreeing with the panel is great though.
But I do agree with Bob, like on the intent. I mean, and so.
Well, I think what you said is important though, because when you come across it, one person's right isn't the other person's right.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I mean, we even doing the right things, you're still going to have to endure conflict and endure even criticism at times.
Yeah.
So it may be right to you, but it may be wrong to someone else.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, I think Rex is ready. I believe.
No. Every time you hear that ding, his head goes down. It's like some sort of it's like a carnival game. You hear the ding, and he just falls down.
Remember that little guy who was like it would go into the water. Remember that? I mean, I'm dating myself. Remember it was like that little it was like
a chicken or rooster or something.
Yeah, right. Remember how it used to go into the water?
He would dip down.
Okay, Barry, you're next. Like I said, we got a hard stop at 55, so I want to make sure this is packed full. Barry? Wait, Rex is ready now.
Okay.
Oh, well, don't cut Barry off.
No, I don't think Barry was ready. Are you ready, Barry?
I'm ready, but Rex can go.
No, go for it. Go for it, Barry.
Fine.
Sorry.
The thing you said about, because we talked about this before last week before about being right or being something else. Mm-hmm. So doing the right thing is definitely a question mark. Is like if what you're giving to somebody isn't landing, you got to have the self-awareness enough to go, okay, so what is it they really need, so I can actually help them with what they need versus what I think they need. The biggest challenge we have when we're teaching is to just dump our agenda on other people, and I think we know everything because I know a lot of stuff. But if the person who's sitting there and I'm teaching doesn't get anything I'm teaching them, then it's on me to go, okay, so what is it they need? So that means that's the important part as well.
Agree, Barry.
Love that.
Agreed.
Great point. Mr. Rex?
Yes.
Still digging.
Paul Lind in the middle.
Yes, I'm the middle square. How cool.
That used to be Paul Lynn Square or something. Right?
So I'm going to address everything, going back to the beginning as best as I can, very briefly. One is everything is manipulation, and it's a good thing to be able to manipulate. If you couldn't manipulate your fingers, you'd never get anything done. It's the manipulation that has a connotation, or the people trying to get somebody to part with something for a certain amount of money that and doesn't provide value back. That's the issue. But we're all manipulated. I manipulate my dogs and my children, and they manipulate me. So I don't think of manipulation necessarily as bad, unless it's with a bad intent. As far as sales, my job as a salesperson is to provide value for the person, either exceed that or at least match what their expectations are in exchange for whatever the medium is that we exchange, whether it's cash or time or love or whatever it might be. So it's all about me being able to do something for them, and if I can do that for them, then whether or not we close a sale, they may want to do something for me. So it has to do with being respectful and have rapport and integrity. By the way, NLP is only one of some of the things I do, a powerful and a predominant thing that I've done for 40 years, but it's only one thing. The key is to add value to other people, I don't run. I mean, in other words, everybody out there is trying to get you to part with their money, whether it's a refrigerator salesman or an online something or this, that, vitamins, whatever. It's all that exchange that we have. The problem that I have with a lot of the thought leaders is that they make everybody think you have to have a car, you have to have a jet, you have to have a yacht, you have to have a Rolex, you have to have you have to have all these things in order to be successful. Why do you hold up my book when I'm saying that? The question becomes, I'm kidding, but the point I'm making is that there's this huge thing about status as the only measure of success, there are plenty of people in the world who are thrilled and happy and delighted and have almost nothing. It's not what you have or what you do that's important. It's who you are. My job is to help people discover who they authentically are and then live from that. And if that includes yachts and boats and houses and everything else, then fantastic. And if it includes a mud hut next to the river, then fantastic. But so many of the thought leaders are preying on people with the very same kind of cultural issues that we face every day in the world, and that is status and disenfranchisement and disparity between classes and the whole thing. And that to me is disappointing. That to me is manipulation. And that, if you don't sign up for and I get it, because people don't act unless you do certain things. But, if you say, if you don't take charge of 2022, then your whole rest of your life could be sucked. I'm like, yes, this may be true, but I also know that, now, lastly, could the person part their money with that kind of scarcity message with a thought leader who's, in my consideration, less than glorious, not really out for the best interest of anybody? And could they have a really positive experience and transfer in their life? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Good can come from bad. Bad can come from good. I try not to have a judgment about it as much as possible. And there are people who I wouldn't go to for certain things. I mean, there are people out there going, I teach happiness. And I go, I wouldn't go to you for happiness. I'd go for you for storytelling or for hypnosis, or if I wanted a massage. But I wouldn't go for you to learn to be happy, because you're not a happy person. So it's up to each of us to become savvy consumers, and not everybody is. But to vet the people that you want to study with and research them, and not just buy it because somebody says something. Because anybody can say, I can say anything. I can say I'm 90 feet tall, and someone would say, well, you look pretty short for 90 feet, and another person say, yes, you are. I mean, anyway, it's with love and grace and everything that I just went on my tirade.
No, I think that's brilliant. All of that brilliant stuff. And, especially the fact, I mean, what was it? What was the Lex Luthor quote? Some people can read War and Peace and get nothing. Other people can read the back of a gum wrapper and unlock the secrets of the universe. I mean, everybody needs something different to unlock their authentic selves and everything within them.
I think the Apostle Paul said something to the effect of, I would rather scare them into heaven than have them march blindly into hell. So, I mean, even in those days, here's the scare tactics, buddy.
Yeah. He had the first sales program. It was,
it cracks me up when they say, hey, the sale's only today. And then in 2 days, hey, Bob, I got a special today for you. It's $19.99. That's shit.
Scarcity marketing sucks.
Yeah.
Scarcity marketing sucks.
Yeah, if you're going to make a statement like that, stick to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like I have, sometimes I'll have, this is today only.
Right.
And if you come to me tomorrow, it's a different price. It may not be full price tomorrow, but it's not going to be the price that I offered it.
Right. But I'm saying those other people just come back with the same old broken record.
I agree.
And that loses it for the mentality of regular marketing or people that have the intention of raising their prices eventually or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think My Pillow is still on today only. Buy one, get one free. I think that's the 5th year of Today Only.
My Pillow.
Well, it's a long day.
I do think there's a way to do things. For example, I learned back in the 80s or 70s, we put out a seminar at, let's say, $10. I'm just making it. And then, 3 months later, half a year later, we decided to do it at half the price. Boy, were the people pissed who did that first seminar. They're like, give me my 50% back. I mean, or they liked it, and they said, I won't ask for a refund, but wow, always have a low price and increase it. Don't have a high price and decrease it. I very rarely ever reduce anything in price. And the reason for that is because if I reduce this, then they expect that it's not worth the value that I put on it. And I already think it's underpriced. So, but the other thing to that is there are a lot of people who can't afford, let's say, a $2,000 seminar. They can't afford that. So they go, could it be lower? But I know that the people who pay $100,000 for a seminar go, why would I go to a $2,000 seminar?
Right.
So a lot of it has to do with who you're trying to target.
It's the market you're working in.
Yeah,
it really is the market you're working in.
So, I mean, there's a lot of considerations, but I have not. I don't know if I've reduced anything. I'm giving away a bonus training, but other than that, I've not reduced it. And there are people who go, you can have everything I've done this last year for $10 or something like that. And there's supposed to be like $40,000 for the workshops. I'm like, well, that's great. It just seems to make everything. Why, you know what I'm saying? I mean, why would you pay $40,000 if you could know that you could have got it for 10 a year later? So I think what's happened, and same thing with life coaches. Oh, this is an area I get angry about. When the seminar participant area dried up, people went, oh, let's make everybody trainers and coaches and get them on certain. Now you can be a life coach for $7. I mean, come on, really, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've had a big rant on Facebook with a friend of mine about that. Life coaching is like it's like a stamp you put in an envelope. It's so easy now.
Well, I do have a psychiatrist friend who stopped being a psychiatrist, said ethically I could no longer be a psychiatrist, so I call myself a life coach. So sadly, I mean, what else does he have? You know, the ability to call. He could call himself a transformational change agent or any number of things, but he calls himself a life coach, and he's good. I mean, I love him. He's great at what he does, but he's caught with the labels. You know,
He's branded himself.
It's been bastardized. It really has been bastardized.
Well,
and it's about as good as holistic or organic. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
So what's the solution? We've identified the problem. What's the solution? How do you fix that?
Well, actually, Rex was right. Look for people have to be aware of what they're buying. You know, people will spend more time researching a car that they're going to buy than a person that they're going to go and give money to that's going to help them change their life. They don't spend any time researching it. Spend any time. If you're going to get a life coach, here's a thought: make sure they have a life. I mean, just a thought. If they're living on their mom's sofa,
not only that, but a life that you want.
Exactly. Exactly. Because
the
person I go to wouldn't be the person you went to. Because I'd be going. My life coach has to be a rock star. Right. He has to be an artist. He has to be this. I've got criteria that are different from your criteria, but it's about buyer beware. Research it. This is your life.
Well, in the NLP field, I've written articles that go back into the 80s about, the fact that the field is murky. I mean, every field is nowadays, especially since the internet. And anybody who read a book or, took a $7 certification course or bought a Pony PhD can say that they have all these credentials and everything else. What I've come to realize all these years later, essentially, is if you're you gotta realize you'll attract the right people to you. If you think you can compete with everybody who's out there, because Jesus said, for example, you'll always have the poor will be with you always. So in our endeavor, there will always be con artists working the public with us. Sure. So the only thing that you and I can do is rise above, seek to have integrity, and put the message out there and be a light. And then those people that see it will be attracted to it, and those that get to that see the con man will be see the con man. And you can't. It's like you can't fight it because they're there anyway. But you can be the message. As Marshall McLuhan said, the medium is message. Be the message. And then hopefully, the right people will find you at the right time, and all will be well.
And I want to quote Bob.
Example. I mean, I had a situation. I've been very blessed to do many, many, many live events and present products from stage many, many times. And I've also shared the stage with vaporware salespeople and some of the less than scrupulous presenters, and it used to really, really upset me that they would take advantage, quote unquote, of the audience members, because you present your stuff with integrity, and if they take advantage of it, God bless them, and if they don't, God bless them. It's just the way it works. And all of a sudden, one of my friends said, "What if that was the one last lesson they needed to never do that again?"
Yeah,
true.
And it actually changed my perspective on that. And I, because I'm not judgmental typically, but I found myself getting judgmental and protective of the audience. And in reality, that's not my job. My job is to do my job, be in integrity with what I present and how I present it, be a living example of those products. And as you say, those who are attracted to it, again, as a sales professional, I don't ever want to sell you anything, but I always want you to buy a lot from me. Therefore, it's my responsibility to create that environment for you to want what I have. And if I don't do that professionally and well, that's on me. That's not on you. And that lesson was just a huge lesson for me.
Thank you, Scott.
I want
That's
to
a big one.
quote what Bob said to me, I think a couple of times before, that has stuck with me. We don't worry about all these other people. The thing is if you ask the great questions of those that are not of who they say and they cannot answer, you'll get your answer, and they'll be seen for what they don't know. So I really think that's a great concept that has really stuck with me, Bob. And so I really appreciate that. The fact that, like you said, ask good questions of them and see what you get for answers. So, and we
Sandra's been waiting patiently here.
Yes.
Ahead,
Hey,
Sandra.
that's okay. I'm honoring the room. I'm honoring the space, as we always say, right? So, I mean, I always admire, I actively listen to what everyone is saying. And the thing that kind of showed up for me is about congruence. It's that you are that true integrity. So what you speak is also in your actions, Lynn and I were always so beautifully, we really admire, I would say for myself as well as Lynn, like with Rex, because you've really taught so many beautiful people. It's in your beingness. You need to be it, to do it, and then to have it. And that is truly the truth. And one of the greatest learnings that I've learned as someone who's in the business world, helping individuals and leaders and organizations to change, people they feel it, they see it, they sense the authenticity. So if you haven't walked the talk, then just get out of the arena. Like, you got to be who you are. And so for me, I'm very, very, really cognizant of that. The other interesting thing I would like to bring to the panel in this conversation is that, as individuals grow, people want so desperately maybe to be something that they're not right here and now. And the greatest lessons that we can give from our hearts, connected to our minds, to a higher calling and consciousness, is to help them find that way to connect. And so if that's through sales, I was top of sales in Canada. That was great. Who cares? But what I did was find new ways for them to build relationships. We haven't really landed on that. It's about relationships, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So throw that back at you guys.
Very good. Very good.
And I'll just make a quick reference to the movies. Like, I may think a movie's great, and you may all see it and you have different perspectives about the movie, and again, then you learn from there what, how people's opinions are. And so when you read reviews, you take a review for somebody that likes the same movie as you do. If you're going to read a book, or whatever. And I mean, my goodness, Rex has reviews from Joe Vitale because he's taught Joe Vitale to like, just you name it, they've read his book. So it's just good example. It's who you resonate with.
The big key thing here, though, is what the learning is this. If you truly have mastery in a beautiful area, guess what? You don't have to spout off the tops. You don't have to be. People will come to you because you have the real goods. You are walking your talk. And I think this is the interesting thing. And I'm going to bring up about generational differences. There is ageism out there. If you're changing your life and you're, reinventing yourself, you may not have all those big followers, all those big things out there. But guess what? You got damn ass wisdom. Excuse my language. You walk the walk and the talk.
Canadian swearing.
Yes, Canadians swear. So, it's so true. Like, people got to take that and honor it. Anyways, throw it back to you guys.
Well, let me say something, because I've got some good reviews too. James Taylor. James did this. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That was a restraining order, but it was close. I mean, it was signed. It was signed. All right,
it's on paper.
I believe
it's on paper and it's framed
and had a signature.
No, but quite honestly, I was listening to what Scott was saying earlier about getting upset with some of these things that are going on out there, and I think sometimes it's because it's like, with what I do, it's a little different from everybody here is like at a different level or a different stage of development for people, which is, I think, why we work well together. Because I'm at that, I'm not trying to sell like a level or an improvement here. I'm trying to sell survival, because I'm working with the people with the mental health and the addictions on the streets and trying to get them to live. But then the next level, they've got to start learning how to live, and then they build. So everyone here kind of fills those spots. And I think what happens is when I see people out there trying to either do everything for everybody or pretend they know everything or trying to walk on water when you don't have to walk on water, you got to do is show people how to get water. That's all you got to do. And I get offended. And I think one of the reasons I get offended is because I've seen people go out and try to do what I do without being ready to do it and do damage. And then when somebody comes along who really wants to make a difference, nobody believes them anymore. And it starts to it ruins the reputation for all of us. So I think sometimes we get a little threatened by the people out there. And it seems like the shysters, they make a ton of money all at once, and then they kind of go away.
Well,
but then we're left to clean up the mess afterwards. We're left to clean up the mess. And but I honor all of you guys because we all kind of fill these different levels and stuff. And I think we need to be a little bit offended and protective because if people are out there doing the wrong things, it's going to screw everything up. But I mean, not that we can fix it. We're not going to make it all better for everybody. But and I think definitely what Sandra said.
See,
if it's authentic, it's worth doing.
I want to honor somebody like Rex, and I've never met him before.
Thank you.
But here's why I want to honor him. Because Lynn keeps on holding up his book. No, that's not the reason.
An amazing damn book.
I'm working on mine now, right?
Okay. The reason I want to honor you is because I have done thousands of stage presentations, and I have done them side by side with people who have used NLP with integrity and with less than integrity.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you explained right out of the blocks. Manipulation. You softened the word manipulation. I mean, you heard my definition of heart-centered selling. I mean, I'm an anti-manipulation guy,
right?
And so I fought that for a long time. But for you to say it the way you did and soften it, I greatly appreciate. I honor you for that. But the other side of that is then to share and to admit there are people who use NLP with integrity, and there are people who choose to use it in a different way. And it's unfortunate that the practice of NLP took the rap when it's really the people using it the wrong way that should have taken the rap, right? Yeah. So again, I honor you. I've never met you before, but I honor you for explaining it in such a great positive way.
Well, I appreciate that, and here's something I hope that you appreciate too. Not because I'm saying it, but I've said it for like 40 years. And that is, people, will NLP change my life? And I'm like, no. You'll change your life maybe using NLP, but I'm also an actor in the film business, and I would throw a script on the floor. You could throw my book on the floor and go, act, do something, and it won't do anything. NLP is a collection. It's a field. It's not a living person, and people make these mistakes. But that said, you're absolutely correct. But people can force feed their children to the point of using food and abuse them with their love or their kindness, or they could abuse them because they're like, eat, you little rat. Anybody can do anything. But sadly, with the field of NLP, there's been a lot of abuses. I've known people who've never stepped inside a program who call themselves master trainers of NLP. They have phony PhDs, and I'll say, why did you do that? Because it'll sell products. And I'm like, well, that's fine, but I don't want anything to do with you. And we shouldn't. But it's not likely that I'm going to clean up the field, no matter how many spotlights or flashlights I shine on it, So but it is up to those people who are ethical or have integrity or who are honest or loyal or transparent to try and let their light shine so that the people can see the difference between the two. Because the other people will do everything they can to obfuscate their lack of their integrity or skill or whatever in order to get people to part with their dollars. Now, I hate this, and I've seen it too many times associated with good names. People I think that sometimes somebody says, I can't afford a $2,000 seminar, or I can't afford a $30,000 seminar, I can't afford it. That sometimes they have to work, they have to stretch, they have to go outside of their box and be a little bit uncomfortable or do that. But I will never encourage people to put themselves into debt or use credit cards to pay off things or to do the kinds of things that you see in this business oftentimes a lot where for one person that might be great, but for 20 other people, they've all now got credit card debt that they never had before. And I can, I can't do that, so I won't do it. And yet that is a practice with a lot of seminar companies. I'm not a huge fan. I've never been a huge fan of back of the room sales. I've never ever thought that was a healthy.
Oh, I love that one, Lynn.
I've never thought that was healthy. I understand when the business changed and so much of our speaking revenue came from back of the room sales, but it became feeding frenzy stuff as opposed to, I used to say, there's stuff in the back if you want to go check it out. That's all I would, that's the most acknowledgement I give to the back of the room. But now you have to pitch, and if you don't pitch, and if you don't sell $250,000 worth of stuff, you don't get on a platform. So the business has changed, and you have to decide: am I going to go along with that, or am I not going to go along with that? And the second that you go, okay, for a limited time, I've got all these bonuses, everything, go, and you watch, 1,000 people jump up and run to the back. I'm like, that's just not who I am, and I'm not saying that that's. I'm not trying to paint it with one brush, because there's plenty of times where that's absolutely appropriate and it's good and it's valuable and people make life changes as a result. But there are other times when it's abused and not healthy and not good, and finding out which is which, or knowing which is which, and participating in the healthy ones is what we all hopefully endeavor to do, and hopefully can help people understand, because just because you got a great deal here doesn't mean the product is right for you. And I mean, I bought stuff from stuff that they've never made good on, or I've never used, because I paid $1,000 from some course. I thought at the moment I should get this because the deal is so great, and then I forgot that I had it. So I mean, it's somewhere online somewhere. So I want people to feel like when they connect with you or they connect with me, that they feel that they've had a really life-changing, wonderful experience, and that they're left better off than not. So that's anyway.
Can I say something,
I
Rex?
want to ask Ken real quick. Ken mentioned the poster behind me.
Yeah.
Which one are you referring to? Because these are my paintings and I sell them. So if there's one of them you like, let me know. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Sandra.
No. I just real quick. The one thing that I have found most beneficial is understanding how words, when we use intentional questions, because I'm in your online ultimate NLP program, which is amazing. It's the intentional questions. It's redirecting our subconscious mind. That has been transformational, because even in the world that I am in leadership. I think it's purposeful and powerful that people wake up and realize, oh, okay, A, I can control my mind, and B, others can control. So just be mindful, awake up to the words and the power of words. Even if we just did that, people will have a chance. People have a chance.
I would heartily agree. Can I share one thing that
Yes.
And you touched on about ageism and stuff. I was with a young addict one time who said, they wanted to go to a meeting. I said, well, I'll drive you to the meeting. So, well, I want to find one with a bunch of old timers. Like, well, why do you want a bunch of old timers to go? Because I want somebody who's been clean or sober for 30, 40 years, because they know how to do it. Somebody who's been sober 1 or 2 or 3 years, they're just starting off. I want to learn from the person who's got it down. And I was like, it blew me away, because I would have thought, well, you want to get in with the young crowd, but they didn't. They wanted to find the people who really had mastered sobriety. So.
That's definitely somebody who knows what they're looking for, and that's a rarity that you ran into, Rex. Usually, it's like let me sit next to where all the pretty girls are. And,
I would do that. That would be me. I get it. I mean, I understand.
Well, that's what I did my first time in sobriety too. Is I was the guy. I made sure I was the greeter at every meeting I went to. That way, I can get the women who were 5 minutes sober and marry them. I don't do that anymore.
And that's why you've been married 9 times, right?
Well, not quite, but I'm working on it, brother. I'm working on it. I still got a few years to. I'm always looking for the next Mrs. Jonesy. So
okay, so we got like 8 minutes left. I'm being the producer manager here. I got a great show to go with Scott. We got a mastermind to go to. So we want to start wrapping this up, Scott. I'll let you be in charge of that.
All right, well, let's do some. I know we talked about a lot of stuff, and it went in a lot of different directions. But I guess everybody's final thoughts on, and just basically the idea of, doing the right thing and what it really means to you personally. I mean, let's get out of the business for a minute and let's talk personally, because we're all very personally invested in everything we do. If we weren't, we wouldn't be doing it. So personally to you, doing the right thing, why is it important and what does it mean to you? We'll start with Flo.
Okay. What I was thinking that as I was listening to everybody and all their opinions and everything, I went back to what Bob always says: the other person always has a vote too. So, I mean, we may be thinking we're doing the right thing as personally, but they're in it too. Like if they want to buy something, they don't have to buy it. So that was just coming to my mind on recapping. So
thanks, Flo. Thanks, Flo.
Mhm.
As always, lovely to see you. Bob.
Thanks for having me.
Bob.
I think the bottom line for me is doing the right thing means you do it whether it's comfortable or not comfortable. And also that if you're doing the right thing, it should always be the right thing. And so you do it because it's the right thing, not because you're going to get a result. I opened the door for a lady because I believe it's the right thing to do. It's the way I was raised. I don't do it to get her to say thank you. I don't do it for her to ask me for my number and go out on a date. It's simply the right thing to do. Whether she appreciates it, whether she even acknowledges it is irrelevant. It's the bottom line. I do it because it's the right thing to do.
Fantastic. Rex.
I mean, I'm an actor and I'm a mystic, and the thing is that I've never been able to do a commercial for something that I didn't wholeheartedly believe in or put my name or sign my name or do anything that I didn't absolutely have faith in. Have I been misled? Probably in my life, but I don't endorse things, but very, very rarely for that reason. And and I don't know why I am this way. I mean, it's just always been that way. I guess my parents instilled this in me somehow that, if I'm not willing in any way, shape, or form, like I won't eat certain food because that's just not me. Then I won't promote that food. I don't mean it. I mean, it sounds bad.
Right. No.
Said that way, but point is that I've turned down tons of. I didn't want to say this, but I've turned down tons of money to do things because it's not about the money. It's at the end of the day, it's me or who my reputation is or what I bring to the world and people who have listened to me for all these years. That's more important than somebody paying me a significant amount of cash. So I've never done anything for money.
Absolutely. Barry.
Something Scott said earlier about the knowing that it's somebody else's karma. It's like it's not my job to fix everybody, because I know enough over all the years I've studied. I can help a lot of people, but I got to recognize that I don't have to help everybody. Like that's the biggest piece, is reminding myself that I don't, even though I know more, doesn't mean I got to force it on other people, because I know their lives would be better if I told them. But if they don't want it, there's no point. So it's a good reminder to let go. So thank you for that, Scott. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sandra.
Just such a beautiful conversation. For me, it always comes down to feeling it first, knowing that I'm in my heart space, and knowing that if I connect to my heart, to my mind, to a higher calling and consciousness, I will always know what's right. And if I don't know what's right, then I just stop, breathe, reflect, take in more information. And I love what we shared earlier. It is a two-way conversation. It's a dialogue. We can never assume, because that makes out of you and me. And so just stop, just be in the moment, be present. So that's doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And our new friend, Scott.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here, first of all. I want to say two things. Number one, Sandra, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's about congruence in word, actions, and deed. And it's all about that congruence and who you are and living it. And the second thing, or what I want to leave it with, is there's a pretty good training manual. And in that training manual, probably one of the greatest community builders of all times was featured in that manual. And 137 times he spoke in the manual, and 122 of those times were in the marketplace. And the message was very simple: follow me. It wasn't be me. It wasn't do anything past me. It was follow me. It was be the living example. And I think that's what we have the opportunity to do with doing the right thing. I honor Bob for what he was saying. You do the right thing because it's the right thing, period. If people don't like it, too bad. My platform is to return respect, honor, and dignity to the planet. My respect is how I treat you. Honor is how I lift you up. Dignity is how we both feel after that's been done appropriately. And so if we lead by example with everything, it's been a brilliant conversation. You all are all amazing, and I want you all to be new friends, quite frankly, except for the old friends.
But I'm old new friend. I think Bob's your oldest friend, and I'm your newest friend. Yeah. So I just want to say real quick, because I see the time here, and then the floor is Jonesy's over there. Is, I've always find the good in everyone. And knowing the good in everyone, after a while, I see some things that are less than glorious, but I focus on the good things. But I feel like this, at the end of the day, I've got to live with myself. So I'm not going to sell something in $19.95 or make $20 in my pocket and know that I can ruin a friendship just for making a sale. And so to me, even though I know marketing, I know how it's supposed to be, I don't agree with I believe in attraction marketing. I believe that if you just be yourself and be of a giving spirit and not your motives behind, and you do for the greater good, then the people that know your heart and know where you're coming from are the ones that are going to be there for you. And that's all you have to worry about, because you should live with your own integrity. And most people will sell their soul in desperation. And that's something really sad. And, and I pray for them and I wish them well, but I'm not going to follow that train. So, Scott, Mr. Jonesy.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, surrounded by great company and people doing good work. And it blows my mind that you guys are out there doing this. I've had the dubious distinction of understanding the real dark side of life. Because of my own experiences. And I know what it's like to be lost in addiction, to be lost in anger, to be lost in violence, to be lost in darkness. And when I healed, I could not heal a fake human being. I had to heal the real me. And that sent me on the path of, without being authentic to who I am. My right might not be Rex's right or Scott's right or Barry's right or anybody's right, but my right has to be authentic to who I am. And if I follow that path, I rarely go wrong. Sometimes I might be off a little bit, and some people might look at me strange. But if I'm dancing in the rain, if it feels right and it's the authentic me, then it is doing the right thing. And what I find is that when you learn to care about yourself, know yourself, your ability to care about others and want to know others and help others, it exponentially grows. And I think that's where my life has taken me. And money follows, success follows, but I've got to lead with being authentic and raising myself by kneeling down to help others. That's the only way I could do it. But I want to thank all of you for your messages and everything you've said today.
Can I make a proposal?
Please.
Yes.
Because based on this, what we said here,
I'm not looking for another wife. If that's the proposal you're talking about, I'm just saying. I'm better than that now.
I was prepared to give up my masculine heterosexual lifestyle just to marry you.
Oh, we missed that.
Okay, that's going to be a new show that I got to come up with, but that's not this show tonight, folks.
No, the proposal is this: because we all are talking about integrity and walking our talk. There are a lot of people out there who walk their talk and they're completely insane and mad and evil, and they will defend that to the death. And that's where we find ourselves in the world, where there's this conflux of different kinds of opposing forces, but they both think they're right. So maybe we can do a show or have a conversation at some time about what we feel is right, or why, or what the values are that are associated with that, because to just say follow your heart could be telling the wrong, say that to Dr. Joseph Mengele. Go ahead, live your dreams.
Yeah, and what?
I think we can connect that to healthy relationships with ourselves, and to having good mental health, and to really knowing yourself, and to knowing and treating yourself with respect and care and love. So I think we can connect that. But I would love to do that show. That's a great show.
Yeah, and you know what? before we run out of
I think
time,
I got some serial killers I used to be friends with. I'll bring them on.
Yeah, listen, before we go, I want to acknowledge Kevin Shrive here. He has served our country. He was a sheriff and law enforcement. He's a great guy. Thank you for your service. He's retired now. I want to also acknowledge that for the longest time, I started doing a game online in 2008, and I met this girl, Lisa, and she's in Hawaii. And like she says, she's been homeless. She's alcohol abuse, all these different things, and she's evolved over the years, and she's really enjoying this show, and I'm very, very grateful for our friendship. We've never met in person, but we've known each other for I think 13 years now, and it's just, again, it's just so many beautiful people, beautiful comments here we didn't get to. But Lisa, I want to acknowledge you for being here. I want to acknowledge the fact that you guys are all part of the Lynn Serrano TV network, and I'm just really excited because you guys are amazing people that I want people to stalk, all you guys. And for the podcast, I want everybody to know that Flo Mina was here, Barry Selby was here, Rex Steven Sikes from Rex.com, Bob Donnell, Scott Schilling, and the one and only Sandra J. Horton. We are really, I'm behind on putting my podcast up there. I apologize, but I am trying to run a TV behind the scenes here. So I'm so excited when you guys see everything that I have going. I just love people. And it's just, you guys are like the creme of la creme of authentic people that the world needs to see. And I'm just grateful. I've prayed and wanted you guys in my life for a long time. So I'm very, very grateful to it all be coming to fruition. And the fact is that we all see it. We all have different ways of viewing everything, but wake up and question what you see. Rex's book, I kid you not, even though I threw it on the floor.
You threw it on the floor.
Listen,
you can't talk about it now. You threw it on the floor.
I give this away as gifts all the time. And if you guys
me too.
really can't afford this book or want this as a gift, come and message me, because immediately after I purchase this book for you, there's almost a $400 course. The course alone will help you clear some of the things in your mind. And I'm telling you, this guy he's pillar of the earth. He's just humble and loving. And I love this man. We are so honored to have him among us. And you guys really should come here with questions. That this is just a great, amazing panel of really giving people. And I feel honored to be a part of that. We really need to get to Scott's class here, but go ahead, Jonesy, one last thing. And thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys so much.
Thanks, Scott.
Just acknowledge all of you guys and acknowledge the people that were listening. And Lisa, God bless you. Keep it up. Keep it up. Your journey and the struggles you've gone through, somebody's watching. Somebody behind you is watching, and they're going to follow you. So please keep going. And every once in a while, turn around, see who you can lend your hand to. That's all. Absolutely. That's it.
Love you guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
Keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down.